Hi, boys and girls. It's Mr. Yates. I wanted to go over the assignment for today. This assignment is basically a review. We've learned about this before. It's about finding volume. I wanted to review it with you because we are going to be doing a test at the end of this week for Chapter 12, and part of that chapter is volume. And it's been a couple weeks since we've talked about it, so I just want to make sure everyone is still on point with remembering how to calculate volume. So we're going to go over and walk through a couple of exercises that I would like you to work on just to make sure you remember what to do with volume. I'll go over a couple of examples here, show you how to figure them out, and then I'd like you to just download this document and work them out on a lined piece of paper. We'll check the answers tomorrow. Let me go ahead and go with the first one. The first one is basically going to be finding the volume of these shapes. And if you remember, volume, and I'll just write it up here to remind yourself, volume, which is I'm going to put here as V, and I'll just zoom in here so you can remember. If you need to write this down, so remember, to find the volume, you take the length, which is, we'll call it capital L, times the width, and multiply it by the height. Length times width times height is going to equal our volume. These examples here, we do not have any we don't have any numbers, but that's okay. We can count. Basically, it's pretty easy. We just take the length, which is side to side right here. It's 1, 2, 3 cubes. The width, which is from front to back, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we know that length is 3, width is 4, and we multiply it by the height. So I'll give you a little freebie here just to remind you. So here it's 3, which is our length, our width, which is front to back, is 4, and we count up the cubes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our height is going to be 4. And like I just said a minute ago, to find the volume, we take the length, multiply it times the width, multiply it times the height. And that's all you need to do for that. Now, to remember, if they don't give you a unit of measurement here, and they don't tell you whether these are cubic centimeters, cubic inches, cubic miles, we don't know. So what you're going to do is, if in these situations, you're always going to write your answer as units with a U and a little 3, which is for cubed. So it's units cubed. I'm going to let you figure out the rest of this by multiplying it out and then writing the answer here. You do exactly the same things for numbers 2 and 3. We're going to go ahead and move on down to the next ones. On this one, again, we're going to be finding the volume by taking the length times the width times the height. And this time they actually just show you all the 3 numbers. So pretty simple to do. Remember that again, you're using your unit of measurement here is millimeters. So your unit of measurement is going to be millimeters cubed because volume is cubic units of measurement. Same here. Now this one's a little weird. They only give you one number. But I want you to think about it, boys and girls. This is a cube, and cubes are basically squares with 6 sides, and squares all have the same sides. So if we know one side, we know that our length and our width and our height are all going to be the same number. So once you know that, that shouldn't be a trouble finding the volume of this shape either. Now down here on number 7, they do look a little different, and I think if you remember back, we did a couple of these. I told you a story about my nephew AJ who knocked out all the cubes, but we were still able to find the volume of the shape that he knocked out because he left some still there. And that's pretty much what we have here. We have our length and our width, and over here we have our height. But you got to remember that there is a cube we don't see here. So it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, but remember that there's another cube down here we cannot see that's being covered up. You can see one right here. So the height of this is actually going to be, well, wait, 1, and it's 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes is the height. The same with all of these are the same way. We're going to go on to the second page. Now, boys and girls, these are word problems, and on the word problems, I want you to remember to use an answer sentence and make sure that you do write down the cubic unit of measurement. For here, it's cubic inches, and make sure you include the word volume. You're going to be doing the same thing for number 11, making sure you use an answer sentence. Now, number 12, it's a multiple choice, but there may be more than one right answer. On this one, they want to know the volume of the pizza box that has 12 cubic units. So they actually give you the volume. The volume is 12 cubic units. But if you remember, a box can be different sizes and still have the same volume. So why don't you think about which one of these dimensions could basically equal 12 cubic units? There might be more than one right answer here. On number 13, they talk about a boy named Ashton. He wants to buy the brand of peanuts that has the most volume. Box 1 has a base of 14 square inches and a height of 7 inches. Box 2 is 105 cubic inches. So box 2, they already give you the cubic volume of the box. But on this one, they don't tell you the length and the width, just something called the base and the height. Now, if you remember, boys and girls, base is basically already the bottom. It's the bottom, and I'll go back over to here to this one to show you. The base is basically the bottom level of cubes. So if we already know, we multiply the length and width here, we'll get the base. And once we know the base, we can then multiply it by the height. I have to say it's all about the base, boys and girls. So if we're looking right here, oops, let me get back to my paper. We're going back to our word problems, which up here. There we go. I go back to my word problems, boys and girls. I'm going to be able to multiply the base and the height, and that'll get me the volume. Now, these final ones are true and false statements. All you have to do is put here what I would do, since if you're not able to print out this paper, just right here, write the words, the volume of figure 3 is 40 cubic units, is false or true. Figures 1 and 2 have the same volume, is true or false. And write the answers that way so that you can check your work a little bit easier. Boys and girls, use the paper that you download. I'll be giving you a blank sheet to look at, and you can either print it out, or if you don't have a printer, no worries, just write your answers, again, on a lined piece of paper, or if you don't have a lined piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, whatever paper that you have. If you have any questions about how to solve these problems, let me know, or you can let Miss Garcia know and ask her as well too. Email us and we'll be able to help you out. Thanks, and we'll check these answers on Tuesday, April 6th. Bye-bye.